Lewis Hamilton has a lot of money in his bank account, but now he's been told to put his money on the line as he once again cries out about diversity. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Racing, and we have a little bit of Lewis Hamilton slamming here by Sophia Floersch, the Alpine Academy driver. She has came out and replied to Lewis Hamilton under a tweet where he said he would like to have a diversity lineup in F1, and if he created his own F1 team, his two signings would be a black male driver and a female driver, saying that he would start diverse from the beginning. Sophia Floersch obviously wasn't happy about that, and she called him out saying basically, well, you can do it. Put your money where your mouth is. So Lewis Hamilton was asked about if he could form a new F1 team, who would he select as his drivers, how would he run it, and he says, quote, Kenzo and Dorian, she's a badass, and if I was to make a team, maybe one day I will, it'll be diverse from the beginning, end of quote. So Kenzo is obviously some young black kid coming up in F1, Dorian I believe is a young female coming up in F1, Lewis Hamilton said he would pick them in his team. Then Sophia Floersch replied to that and says, put your money where your mouth is, almost suggesting to Lewis Hamilton, well, you've got the money to do this, you could do this, why haven't you did this? And she has been called out, not just by fans, but she's been called out by Red Bull senior engineer Callum Nicholas. So he says, quote, very disappointed with this response, Sophia. Lewis has poured more money and time into champion underrepresented groups than anyone in the history of our sport. The Hamilton Commission was a game changer, and without it we likely wouldn't have many of the programmes working to break down the barriers to entry into racing. Why would you want to antagonise people that are already on your side? End of quote. Right, there was a lot of stuff that fans said as well, so not going to reply too much to them or talk too much about them, but I mean, you've got the Red Bull senior engineer coming out and saying that she's made a mistake here, that she should not be calling out Lewis Hamilton, should not be antagonising Lewis Hamilton because he is on her side. Look, diversity is not a problem. I think that if you have a diverse grid, then I don't see the issue in it, but I do see the issue in it when the diversity people on the grid, the diversity drivers, they aren't the best drivers. If we are simply pushing people onto the grid solely because of the colour of their skin or solely because of their gender, then you're making F1 not the number one sport. You're weakening the grid. It's just the same with pay drivers. I don't understand it. A lot of people don't want pay drivers on the grid. Someone like a Logan Sargent or a Lance Stroll, and some people would even argue Sergio Perez in the last few years. And I agree, right? Pay drivers are bad for the sport. I don't want them on the grid, but it's very hypocritical because the same people that are against pay drivers, they're the same people that would want diversity and would want Sophia just to purely be on the grid because she is a female. I have no issue with Hamilton wanting more diversity, but the people that are diverse, they need to be good enough. You can't just put them on the grid because they're not a white male. You know, that's dumb. That is so fucking dumb. And Sophia is speaking as if put your money where your mouth is. I mean, she is currently in F3. She's got a chance to prove she's the best in that. Last year, I believe she finished, 2024, she finished 29th in the standings, and I think there's 32 people in it, so I could be wrong, don't quote me on that, but she finished in the championship standings, P29, and this is Formula 3, so she's obviously not that good, so why should she be in F1? Why should she get a race seat in Formula 1 just because she's a woman? You know, it's not like she's improving, it's not like she's coming through the lower ranks and proving that she can meet and mix it with the men. She's not done that, you know, she's P19 in F3, so I mean, this is dangerous. The last thing we want is people simply getting a spot on the grid because of something that they can't change. Like, why should you be getting promoted? Why should you be getting prioritized? You know, why should you be getting the advantage? Or I mean, you want to talk about privilege. This sounds like a privilege. People want to cry about privilege all the time when it comes to like white privilege, male privilege. I mean, this sounds like Lewis Hamilton literally just saying, I'm going to give privilege to anybody that isn't a white male. So, I mean, you can't have it both ways. Very hypocritical. I want to see the best 20 drivers in F1. I know that's unlikely. You're never going to get, it's very unlikely that you get the best 20 drivers in the world currently racing in the same grid. I get that, but I mean, we could certainly have better grids than we currently have, and I just don't think promoting people onto the grand stage of F1 simply based on their gender or the colour of their skin is a good idea. If they are among the best drivers, then certainly do it, but if they're not, then that's dumb, and I don't agree with Lewis Hamilton at all in his push for this diversity. I mean, it's forced diversity. I mean, if it happens naturally, then great, but if not, then, leave it and just have the best drivers on the grid. Anyway, that's it, guys. Let us know your thoughts down below, and we'll catch you in the next one. Fog Racing. Peace.